All right, let's talk about what's in the box. '06 harness, '06 ECM, and a 2010 Rogue plenum, and a machined adapter to run this plenum and any other plenum off of a '07 to, I want to say '12 plenum on a first generation QR25. The adapter has been machined. I did this a while back. It's kind of crude, but you can buy better from people on the pages. This is basically just to show that anybody with a Dremel can do it. My main focus was porting the head that I did at the time. I took 600 grit ball sanders, sponge sanders, and ran it through these ports and smoothed them up. They're as smooth as glass. Very nice. And injectors, if you're running a better plenum, treat yourself to better injectors. Run B16 injectors. If your power goals are modest, you can get up in the 200s. You know, the second gen Spec V is in the 200s on its stock injectors, so you're fine. You have headroom. If you decide to machine out the bottom portion of this and plumb it for nitrous, you will need to go a bit bigger, probably about 440s for a 100-shot direct port. Tuning solution, you could make a different map on UpRev for nitrous. I will be using a QR Pro because I already have nitrous maps on it. I will be running UpRev eventually, and I will be doing a dyno comparison since they can be wired in parallel. Anyway, let's see. Total cost for a plenum throttle body jumper harness was under $400 easily. I've seen somebody's offering a plenum kit for, like, I want to say it's $7.99. Yeah, if you want to hit the easy button, go ahead and do it. You buy a Dremel off of Amazon, it's another $80, and you can have a nice learning experience doing all this work yourself, as well as getting ahead and just, basically going through and taking out the flash. That's all the porting the QR25 needs. Where we go from there? Okay, harness. Let's look at the weak spots in the harness of any QR that's been run on the road for any length of time. You will want to locate this. This is, if you've spent any time under your hood, this is the back frame and boss for your coil packs. Go through your coil packs, make sure there's no broken wires, inspect the plugs. If they're less than satisfactory, you can disassemble these by removing the white portion of it, and it comes out, and then the clip disassembles, and you're left with your pins where you can service them. These sleeves over them, I would cut these off and I would heat tape them. Use that nice reflective silver or gold tape. DEI makes it. Several other vendors do. Or you can just buy rolls of it on Amazon and eBay. Good stuff. It's really not that big of a deal. Cam and crank sensors. You want to go over those. You want to make sure those connections are good. You want to make sure there's no fatigued wires. Again, heat tape those as well because those sensors rest directly in the backside of the block or directly on the surface of the head near the coolant neck. So, you're going to go over all these plugs. You got to look at all these wires, make sure everything looks copacetic before you even get it close to your car, aren't you? Because you don't want to be chasing gremlins. You want to be running the street like everybody else, right? Right. ECMs. For UpRev, you can run 04 or better. You will have to do some wiring to get the wideband to work with the 04. It is possible. The 05, the late version of the 05, actually has a wideband sensor. If you find yourself in possession of one of those harnesses, you can actually buy the late model 05 wideband O2 sensor for the top port, and it's about $20 cheaper than the 06, and it's the same part number. You go through, look at the O2 sensors, upstream, there's two part numbers, find the wideband option, buy that one, and you're straight on that. From there, if you're swapping up an older car like I am, mine is a early run '02. I'm going to basically swap over all this stuff into it. I'm using a gauge cluster out of an '06 gas pedal. You will need the gas pedal from an '06. You'll need the MAF from an '04 or better. And from there, it's just a matter of getting the license and the cable and flashing UpRev onto your ECM. Buy the tuner edition. Don't be a cuck and pay somebody else to do your business. There's a couple of people who do tune on UpRev. Bobby Haskell is actually very good. I've seen some of the ROMs from some of the other people who are doing it, and they are only adjusting short-term fuel trims, and the MAF tables are all wonky. So basically, they're only adjusting short-term fuel trims, which isn't good. It's not going to give you the power you want, and it's going to make your ride not as good as it could be. You're basically going to be hobbling yourself. So crack a book, figure out how to do it to your liking, or find somebody who is a qualified tuner. And like I said, there's a lot of people on the pages. There's a couple who are notable. I'm not sure if John Visconti does UpRev. I know he does ECU Tech on the newer ones. He's really good too. But again, do your homework or do it yourself. I will not initially be running UpRev. I will be running a QR Pro made by Stillen. This is an SMT6 unit that Stillen basically got and put their proprietary ROM on it and flashed it. A lot of people say that it is not reflashable. This is in fact false. The way Stillen has you hook it up is basically in read-only mode. There is a write mode. You have to arrange the grounds differently, which I will show you. What else? That's tuning, electronics, the way the dash has got to be set up. Talked about the CAN bus wires. Talked about the Rogue manifold. That's it. All right. Next installment will be removing the harness and putting a different head on. My head, I'll show more detail. I show details of it on a different video on this channel. I did a ported head with knife edge septums. I basically went through, cleaned up all the flash and stucco on it, polished the runners to 600 grit, and I reworked the combustion chamber slightly by taking off the casting flash. I also did, I deshrouded the valves. If you look into the, if you remove your valves and look into the valves, you can see they only machine back 10 millimeters in, and then there's like a huge pile of aluminum stucco. I removed that and I smoothed the short edge of the runner going, of the smooth edge of that port just behind it. And I smoothed off all the stucco on the inside, which will make the engine breathe a lot better. I chamfered the exhaust ports to match up to the ports on an harmonic header, which is the exhaust manifold I will be using. Is made by Harmonic Exhaust. It's a guy out of Mexico. He does really, really good work. Products have a lifetime warranty. They're very similar to the Nismo, but you can get stepped ports and you can specify runner sizes. Very good option. Much better than some of the other things that are available. The existing headers that are available, Nismo, Stillen, AEBS, they're all very good options. However, they were made at a time when people were still spouting off the information that the QR25 head flowed okay and didn't need port work. Anybody who's taken one apart knows it's full of trash and knows it needs to be cleaned up. I don't know how people could say that crap with a straight face for all these years. The Stillen and the AEBS are interesting because the runners are much larger and much longer. In my opinion, they could work on a ported head. I've never tried it, but everything I know about this motor tells me that they would be the best option for a motor that has cam work and port and polished head, where like the runners are actually smoothed out. It could make use of it. I'm going to be using a 3-inch Stromung with a E cutout and a 3-inch side exit that's switchable. This will allow me to run a full-on exhaust, which is fairly quiet, or run through the cutout and in situations where I'd want to run a shorter exhaust, like at the track or if I want to spray. I've had a lot of success using this setup in the past. I don't see any reason to get away from it. In my opinion, the 3-inch has always been the best option. The tuning at the time, where everybody was saying 2 1/4 was sufficient, was incorrect. You can manipulate phasing now, and you can adjust dynamic compression to make full use of this. And by manipulating overlap and phasing, this is where a 3-inch comes in handy, especially with a tuned car. That's going to be a ways off. I have all the parts. I'm going to get much more dirty, a little bit closer to spring. For now, we're going to stick to electronics and basic tomfoolery like that, changing tires out. We'll probably have a nice little Q&A about tires. I have 2 sets of wheels. I will be using 225 45 17 all seasons for like a daily driver. Those will be hand-cooked tires. I haven't done all the shopping on them yet. I will be running 16-inch tires 16-inch wheels that are going to be, I want to say I'm going to run 235 40 16, or I may run a slightly taller sidewall. It all depends on whether I'm using a sticky street tire or if I go with something that's a little more track oriented. I haven't made up my mind what I'm going to use on like the lightweight 16s. But anyway, that's a ways down the road. That's all I got for now. I will be updating the thread. Thanks for watching.